Once again, good evening, everyone. Today, we, Government Engineering College, Kozhikode, NSS Unit, and IEEE IAS SBC in collaboration with Kerala Engineers Association Bangalore are presenting a webinar on the topic energy sector. The energy sector is the totality of all of the industries involved in the production and sale of energy, including fuel extraction, manufacturing, refining, and distribution. Modern society consumes large amount of fuel, and the energy industry is a crucial part of the infrastructure and maintenance of society in almost all countries. Now, without further ado, I invite Atul Rajvi, Chairman of IEEE IAS SBCGCK, to welcome other dignitaries.
Hello, am I audible?
Yep, you're audible.
Yeah. So good evening all. So a warm word of welcome to everyone. So today we are gathered here for our presentation on energy sector. So through IAS, so we have recently started IAS in our college. So through IAS, we are trying to bring more of the industry to the college. So we have joined hands with the NSS unit of GC Kozhikode. So we both jointly had invited talk to Kerala Engineers Association, Arjun sir, and together we have launched this event. So further, I introduced Mr. Tom George sir to welcome the speaker.
Thank you, Adil. Good evening to everybody, and we heartily welcome everybody to this today's talk. And before I introduce today's speaker, this evening's speaker, Stephen Babu, I would like to just speak a few words about Kerala Engineers Association. By now, all of you must have heard about Kerala Engineers Association from various forums. And still, I would like to introduce this group of people, group of professionals who are working in Bangalore predominantly, to this august audience. KEA has been in Bangalore for the last 25 plus years. And this is an aggregation of alumni associations, mainly from the engineering colleges and professional colleges, Indian professional colleges in Kerala. And later on, they welcomed people, Malayali or non-Malayali, I mean, basically Malayali engineering or technologists from all over, studied in institutions from all over the country. We have felt that we should feed our experiences and our other knowledge back to the society. It is giving back to the society. So primarily, we are aiming at to giving back to the engineering society, the engineering fraternity, students fraternity, especially in Kerala, so that they can learn from the rich experience of the professionals and technologists in this group. So we started conducting webinars because of the times, COVID times, almost every week. And thanks to Kozhikode Government Engineering College's NSS unit and IEEE IASSBC as well. And we are happy to be associated with this student community and these groups and these organizations so that it will benefit the students. And a few more words about KEA. We have a rich set of activities. Once many of you join the workforce in Bangalore, you can join us, you may join us. And we have a lot of other programs to enhance your experience. Maybe finding the most appropriate and enhancing and satisfying job in Bangalore and enriching your knowledge and also serving the community here in Bangalore. In fact, during this pandemic period, Arjun and myself and our President Thomas Wengel and many other people, we've been active in social responsibility areas too, helping the poor people here during the pandemic, serving them with food relief. Many times, some 13 times we did. And we also have cultural and sports activities within the limits of the current situation. So it's a very enriching and very satisfying experience to be a part of KEA whenever you are here in KEA, in Bangalore, when you join the workforce. I don't want to spend more time. I will move to introduce our today's speaker, Stephen Babu. Stephen has a rich experience and is a young professional working with the Maharatna PSU, that is Hindustan Petrochemicals Limited. It's a Fortune 500 company. And he had graduated in mechanical engineering from Mara Athanasius Engineering College. And he also did his post-graduation MTech ME in thermal engineering from IIT Bhubaneswar. After that, he joined Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore for his PhD program for his studies on climate change, a very vast subject. And in the meanwhile, he has been offered a job with Hindustan Petroleum Chemical Corporation that he is working presently as an officer in operations department, and he has joined there. So he has a kind of vivid exposure and experience in the energy sector, and he had worked with a Bangalore-based a team. Is world famous now, Indus rover mission to moon. They had been in the news recently, and he did his internship and his project at Cochin Shipyard and FACT Ambalamugal. And he had been working in modeling and development of radiative heat transfer in tissue medium for treating cancer cells. It's not engineering side, it's medicine and the biotechnology area. He was trying to model the radiate heat to kill the cancer cells. So that modeling is very sophisticated, and it is the interface between engineering and medicine. And he also had experience in logistical chains in transportation of petroleum products. And he has also experience in pegging of pipelines and contract and dealer management and market analysis of petrol products. So this is his wide exposure to this energy sector and related areas. And he has been very nice to spend his evening sharing his knowledge with the student community this evening. Without much ado, I invite Stephen Babu for delivering his lecture. Stephen Babu, the mic is yours. Thanks.
Now I invite Mr. Stephen Babu, Assistant Manager of Hindustan Petroleum. Sir, now the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mariam. So first of all, thank you, Tom sir. Actually, I think I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You are.
Yes, you are audible.
Hello. Okay. So it will be basically interaction section. So I think due to the net connectivity, sometimes I may get disconnected or something. So it will be interactive section. So please give me feedbacks. Okay, I'll be asking some questions. You please give feedbacks for that, so that we can proceed. So first of all, thanks, Tom sir, for introducing me. Actually, all of you, after the session, please go to Facebook and take and join KEA. Okay, so it will be you please join the activities and please understand what they are doing. So I'm starting my presentation. I'm going to that straight away. So my presentation is visible to everyone now. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please give me feedback. Okay, someone can tell us no. Yeah. Okay, in between. Okay. So I'm Stephen Babu. Now, currently, I'm working at E-Road with Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. I'm the sales officer here at E-Road. So, 1 minute. Just I'll switch off my video. Okay. So, anyway, all of you will be spending next 1 hour listening to me. So everyone, after this 1 hour, I want everyone to take something, some knowledge or something from me, or my experience, or some bit of my experience I want to share to you. So you please ask me questions, because as Tom sir have clearly told, there's a huge gap between the industry and the field of study, especially in India. Okay. If you are studying abroad and all, it's not. If you are studying the basics, everything in abroad and all, it's different. But in India, there's a vast difference between what is happening in industry and what is being taught in the college. So please ask me questions, and please take some experience from me, please, because my knowledge will only increase if you ask questions and if I am not able to answer, so that I'll go and I'll learn that thing, I'll study that thing. Okay. So please ask me questions. Next is currently I'm working with petroleum industry. You can ask me any questions, any doubts on supply chain of petroleum industry. I'm not into refining sector. Refining is completely different. Okay. So please ask questions. It should be an interactive session. So I'm going to energy. As Mariam and Adul have clearly told, it is one of the biggest industry in the world. So at some point of the other, everyone is related to this industry. Means everyone will be drawing salary. Means almost world force, apart from agriculture, in industry sector, if you see, around 80% will be related to energy sector. So it is obviously it is the biggest contributor of economy. So
Sir,
we need to know
excuse me,
energy.
sir.
What is energy? Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
are you presenting?
Yeah.
But we are not able to see.
Yes.
Can you please try?
Okay. Now it's fine, I think.
Okay, sir. Now we can.
Now can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, thank you. Okay, so started with energy. Yeah, it's one of the biggest industry in the world. It is controlling the economy, obviously. Yeah, it is employing the vast manpower. And if you travel with me throughout the slides, you will come to know how the world powers are revolving around this energy, and how the world wars, all those history, it was related to energy at some point of the other. So all these things I'll be taking you through. So basically, I have to start with energy. Okay, right? Because anyway, without knowing the basics, there is no point of going and studying the top big things. So basics of energy is, it has started with stars actually. It has started from Big Bang. From that point of time, energy is present, and all the conversions, everything, energy into mass and mass into energy. Yeah, everything used to happen. And after that, many planets were evolved, solar system, many systems were evolved. Okay. So ultimately, after that, we come to our solar system. Okay. So in solar system, if you take the prime source of energy, means starting of energy will be from all these elements. It will be except nuclear, everything, most of the things will be derived from solar energy. Even the wind, if you see, all this is because of the solar activities. Wind, everything is getting produced because of the temperature difference across different continents or oceans. because of that only all this winds, everything will be coming. So the prime source, if you see, it is sun, and from that we are deriving all the other types of energy. So basics we learned, it is from Big Bang or the solar system or energy. So so actually, if you see my topic, it is the future of energy. I don't want to talk about the current energy because there is no point of wasting your time discussing the current things. So if you go to Google, you will get everything. So basic idea will be to predict or know the future of energy. So what is going to be next based on the current thing. So so I have designed a basic algorithm for reaching the conclusion. First of all, we'll be studying the current energy, what all are current energy, what all are there. Okay, so I am audible, right?
Yep,
Yes,
you're
sir.
audible.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, we'll be going to current energy, what all are the currently available energy. So I am cutting down. So from the sun I am coming to the earth. Okay, so what are the main energy sources we are using now, what are the pros and cons of it, then what will be the current energy distribution, we have to see the economics of everything. So all these things will come together, then we'll see the trend, what is going, means you will be daily in newspaper or everything, it will be coming that in future of energy, climate change is happening here and there. Look, carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases is increasing, ozone layer is depleting. Yeah, some wind, heavy, if you see in Kerala itself, we have seen the worst floods. All the dynamics of climate change, everything is happening in the world. If you see, all this is because of, is related to energy. So we'll be coming to that. So that you, I think all of you are aware. So I am back to the our path. Okay, so we'll be studying the pros, cons. Oh, sorry. We'll be studying the pros, cons. Then we'll be studying the economics. Then we'll see the trend. Okay, then we'll small modeling we'll do and we'll reach a conclusion. So our final aim is the future of energy. So I think now I'm interesting, right? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it was a very vague question. Okay, so we'll start with energy. We'll see what all are the types of energy currently. Okay, if you see wood and solar, previously, if you see our ancestors, mainly they were relying on wood and solar. So there's no point of discussing much. Next is coal. Coal is a big part. It contributes around 38 to 40% at the current, means you see 2020 around 38 to 40% of the world depends on coal. Mainly, hello, someone's mic is on, I think.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any PowerPoint presentation? We are not able to see the PowerPoint presentation there. Only the Meet screen is visible. I don't know why.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Stephen, you're sharing the desktop, but not the PPT application. So please select that PPT and yeah.
Okay, one minute. Now it's fine, I think. Hello?
Yeah, now we can see your PPT slides.
You can see. Okay, good. So please give me feedbacks like this if I'm not any technical snacks. Okay, good. So we'll continue. We stopped at coal. So currently around 40% of the world is relying on coal. Mainly, if you see, there are coal power plants. From coal, you will be producing electricity. If you see the pictures, it won't be look very good because I have taken some pictorial representations, but the pictures which I am showing is very relevant. It shows the starting, means only the relevant pictures are included. So the starting of energy harvesting. So if you see my pointer, I think everyone can see now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good, good. So if you this is the basic prototype of a engine. Okay, so from steam, they will produce steam by heating something. So mainly coal is used as heating. So everyone will be knowing the history of all those things. So coal is the prime. It was the prime source at the earlier stage. Around 80-90% was from coal only. So everyone was considering coal as the biggest source of energy. So initially, if you see all this British people and all the they have basically they concentrated on those areas where there is a huge resource of coal. So if you see, they have gone to US, Australia, India, all these areas. If you see, there is a huge reserve of coal. So I'm talking you based on energy, but look how it is related to history. So there is, if you see the history of energy, it is a history of mankind. So I'm taking you through the history of mankind also right now. So basically, if you see in 1679, they French explorers, they explored Illinois. You can see the British and the French, they only explored the world. So they initially explored the world only for coal mainly, because they knew this is going to the prime source and which controls. If we have a good grasp of coal sources, we are going to control the world. So they developed the infrastructure like anything. So it was a revolutionary invention. In 1800, steam engine was found, and from there started the industrial revolution. And after that, the world started running on energy, basically extracted energy. Coal, I am stopping here. So we need to know the side effects of that. So can anyone explain me what are the side effects of bad effects of coal? I have listed something apart from this. Can you tell anything or based on this? What is the weak part of coal? Why coal is bad? Why coal is bad for the future or the current? Why we need to shift from coal, or why? Can anyone tell?
The pollution from it.
Yeah, obviously it is a pollution. Anything apart from what I have listed? Anything comes to your mind? Anyone is staying near any NTPC plant or anything? Anyone have visited that place or NTPC? Mainly it is NTPC in South, I think. Yeah, no other than big. Tata, nothing. Everyone is based on one. So anyone stayed near that or any experience? Anyone worked there?
Not exactly, sir. My hometown is Ernakulam, but I am almost 1.5 hours away from Cochin Refinery.
Cochin Refinery is actually petroleum refining, but yeah, it is related to this thing, bad pollution. If you stay near the industry,
Yes.
bad pollution. Yeah. Anything else? So I think you, sir, you need want to know what is the future, right? Yes. Anyone else, please? Yeah, what is the bad effect of coal? Why I am not promoting coal as a future energy?
Efficiency, lower efficiency,
Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes. Then.
and
One of the points you can add. We move to the next slide.
health issues, sir.
Yeah, health issues. Yeah, a lot of health issues are there. If you see that dust now, after I have stayed near NTPC, our plant was there next to NTPC. If you see the minute grains, we can't see even with the eyes, but that is causing a lot of cancer to the people working there in these plants. And other thing is, it is or usually they will mix this with. It is imported using ships and all to India. From abroad countries, mainly from Africa and all right now. So they will mix that with they will not allow that to dry. Means they will mix that with seawater and all. So this will seawater mixed with coal is a very dangerous thing, because when it is going and sticking to some iron or any structural things, now it will corrode very fast. So structurally, this all these things will be, plants will be having very short life. Means if you construct a coal plant, will be having a 25-30 years age. So within that, all the things we need a revamp or reinvestment we need. So economic part, that is a very bad also. Okay, coal. So I think I'm clear on coal. So I am next moving to petroleum. Yeah, petroleum. It is my favorite topic. Or yeah, yes, petroleum. How coal? Yeah, I've told that in 1800s, people, all the world was moving towards coal, and they thought that the whoever is controlling the coal controls the world. There comes our America, yeah, USA. Actually, if you know petroleum, actually before that they invented petroleum, but officially patent in 1851 was received by Scotland Method Refinery. So based on facts only I'll be talking. So if you see Scotland right now, 50% of them they have converted to renewable sources. So that is history. So you can see the petroleum transaction. So I'll talk right now. The petroleum is the biggest contributor of energy in the world. So we'll go to some basics or the history of the petroleum. Starting in 1880, there is a interesting story of the Standard Oil Company, because I am specifically talking about John D. Rockefeller, this person. Why this person I am talking? Can anyone guess? Please, I need a one guess from our audience. Why I'll be specifying this person? Some guess, wild guess. Hello? Hello, I am audible, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Any wild guess by any students? Come on, please.
Rockefeller was one of the richest people in the world, right?
Yeah, sure. Yes, he was the first billionaire in the world. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was the first billionaire in the world. So he derived every income from the oil business only. So, but I want to call this business a dirty business, because his father, William D. Rockefeller, okay, he was selling mainly oil for curing the diseases and all. Means he was selling it as a snake oil. Means that was initially used as oilments for treatment, curing many diseases. Like that, they have propaganda. They have told, and they have sold. So from that is the starting of John D. Rockefeller. If you see the history of US, John D. Rockefeller is the major part. Like Reliance, if you see the history of India, we can't, or the history of the share market of anything, we can't, without the Reliance, we can't, without Reliance or mentioning the part of Reliance, we can't derive any history of, we can't study the history of India. So John D. Rockefeller was a person like that for US, and there after that the energy petroleum really picked up after the invention of the car. Okay, in 1885, Benz, yeah, in Germany, they after this the revolution of the world has happened. Everyone was based on petroleum. Everyone wanted to control the petroleum industry. So if you see, initially I've told you, people wanted to control the coal reserves. After that, the people were shifting to oil. So right now, just a small question. If you see the Indian rupees now, if you give a 500 note, there was a demonetization happened in India. So in that it was written that so if you give a old note, what will the Indian government give? What is Indian government money based on? Can anyone? That is a question actually. Can anyone tell? So if you give a note, my question again, I'm making it clear. If you give a 500 rupees note, what is the government giving you back?
The prices are compared according to the price of a barrel of oil in the international market, right?
No, that is US actually. US, or if you see, no, I am talking about Indian currency. Okay, you have gone to advance.
Okay.
So I was talking about Indian currency. So if you because during demonetization, if you now you have an old note,
Yes.
or within 3 months, if you give that note, you'll get the same amount back in some denominations. Okay.
Yes.
And also we will put that in gold. Our locker or the RBI, everyone, they'll invest in gold basically. But in US, if you see, all the trades are happening in dollars, and if you see the international market, and that is being exchanged with petroleum. Okay. If you go to any country for exchanging petroleum, you can give dollar, then you will get the exchange of petroleum for that. Okay, that is the value of highest currency and the petroleum relation. So you can see the world, when the prices of the barrel goes up, dollar, obviously the dollar value will go like that. It is balancing on the dollar value. So yeah. Then again, coming back, yes, basically the world, it was depending on petroleum. Now also they are dependent on petroleum. So that if you see the US and all, they try to control the Middle East. If you see US and all the Middle East countries, they'll be having some collaboration. So that is by controlling that only, the US has now become the #1 in the world. So what I'm talking about is the history of energy. If you see, it is the history of mankind. So we need to know the future of the mankind. So our ultimate aim is to go to the future. So I am stuck in petroleum, but I want to finish this. Okay. So in 1973, OPEC was formed. It was mainly to counterbalance the US effects and the dominance of US in the market. So if you see all these things, it is a very interesting story. If you go to Google and just Google it out, you can see. Okay. So I'm not spending much time on this. Next, yeah. So I think I've given some small knowledge, or Google knowledge I've given you. Okay. So I'll take a small break. Basically, it is for our young engineers. So I want to take a small break, and I need to share a small story. Okay. 2-3 weeks back, means actually a person has approached me before 1 year. Okay. He was trying to get on new petrol pump. Okay. So initially what I told, yeah, I can't give, yeah, it is not there. So several times I have told him to go away. Around more than 10, 15, 20 times he used to call the past 1 year. So what is this? After that, yeah, I also got fed up. Why this person is calling every time there? So yeah, very difficult. So after some time I felt, yeah, yes, yeah, why this person is so passionate? Yeah, yes, it's good. So after that, once a option came to me for giving him a chance, for giving a petrol pump. Okay. So what I want to share is, if you constantly work towards a goal, okay, you are going to achieve that. I have shared you a small picture of an ant carrying a small load. It is capable of handling 10 times its weight. So if you constantly, if you see my previous slides also, if you can know the world, if you constantly work hard for something, there is nothing achievable. There is nothing not achievable. Okay. Everything is achievable by your hard work. Okay. And also one more story I want to share, but I don't know it's good or not, but yeah, I'll share that. There was one of my friend. Okay. He passed out with me with 39 supplies. So I don't know what you guys might have done if you have done that. I think several might have yeah, stop studies. Yeah, I'll not do that. But my friend, what he did, after passing out, he took around 3 years and he cleared all this 39 please. So I'm not talking big of him, but it's a very good example of hard work. So I don't want you people to be, yeah, 1 or 2 attempts. I don't want you to lose your hope or anything. Work hard towards a goal. You will definitely achieve this. Okay, good. So I'm carrying forward. Next is, yeah, wind. Wind. So we are talking about energy. Now we have covered coal. We have covered petroleum. Now we have reached to wind. So everyone know the yeah, wind is very good. There is a lot of scope in wind because if you see the picture, there is a lot of windmills. If you go to this, move to southern part of Tamil Nadu, everything, it is not a very you can't see this windmills in Kerala. I don't know, but if you move to some southern parts of Tamil Nadu, we can see lot of windmills. And also now there is a growing demand with windmills. They will be constructed in sea. It is a very cost reliable. It is very economic. Okay, so I am putting a question. What is the disadvantage of windmill? What is the disadvantage of windmill? Can anyone tell me from the audience? Hello, I am audible now. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can anyone please tell me what is the disadvantage of windmill? What is the disadvantage? Any small points? Come on, comes to your mind. Something, yeah, you can tell me anything here. No problem.
Hello.
Hello.
I hope
Yeah,
it's
audible, madam.
low energy, I think so, relatively.
What?
It produces low energy relative to other sources.
Yes, energy density might be less. Yes, correct. That is a relevant point. Good, good. It is energy density. If you see the density of energy, it is less in wind. Good point. Any other point?
Sir, expensive?
Expensive. Yeah, initial expense is there, but comparatively, if you see what is there, one turbine is there. Only movable part is this. It is having a rotor and is connected to a generator. That's all. So anyway, is it expensive compared to some other hydraulic hydro generating turbine or anything? It's not that expensive. It's okay. Initial expense is there. It is a relevant point. Initial expense is there. Transportation, all those fixing everything in the sea. Everything. Any other disadvantage? Anyone, please?
Sir, we cannot establish it in all terrains.
No, you look at the picture. It is even in the sea. Everywhere you can establish this. One thing is reliable. What you are telling. Where there is no wind means there is no. We can't establish that. But
Yes.
other things, yeah, where there's no wind, it is not reliable. Any other point? Any other point? I want, yeah, come on, guys, think.
Space required.
Yes, madam.
Lot of space required.
Correct. A lot of space is required. That is a relevant point. Come on, more. I want you to think.
Sir, threat to wildlife.
Oh, who told that point? Please, your name, please, madam.
I'm Fabian Matthew.
Yeah, good. Yeah, yes. How it is threat to wildlife?
Like birds, bats, etc.
Wow, very good. It is a very good thinking. Yeah, it is because in the world people are protesting. All the wildlife conservatives are protesting against the windmill because it is a threat to the migratory birds and the birds living nearby. So many birds. I don't have the statistics, but many birds used to die because of the turbines. Okay, that is a correct disadvantage of the very relevant point. So anyway, that is a part of it. So again, we want to know the statistics or the what we need to know the future of energy. Okay. So anyway, I am traveling from wind now to solar. Yeah, solar. Without Tesla, I can't mention a solar. He is the person who is working vigorously, or he want to make every houses working solar. If you see, if you study him, I think it is very relevant. So what I'm telling is now from wind, it has come to solar. So in the wind in the world right now, only 1% of the total energy is being contributed by wind. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Then we are moving to solar. Yes, solar, there is a lot of advantages, you know. So can anyone tell any one disadvantage, one or two? Solar energy, especially converted to electricity. Okay. Can anyone tell any disadvantage? Solar panels, solar electricity, anything associated with it? Please, someone, please come on.
Sir, it's weather dependent.
Yes, yes, it is weather dependent. Yeah, correct. Sometimes it may not be cloudy. We need to store at night and all. We can't get the sun energy from the sun. That is correct. Next.
Expensive?
It was expensive, madam. Yeah, your point is right, but it was expensive. If you see 1977, it was costing around $80. So I'm telling him in the international market rate. 1970. Now you can guess in 1920, then what is the cost of a cost of producing one unit? It was 80 initially. Now it has come down to nearly 3, 4. That's all. So it is it is becoming one of the cheapest. Yeah, this becoming a very low cost thing.
Sir, in night time, you don't get it, right? In night time,
Yeah,
without
night
that.
time, yes, yes, battery storage. Yeah, correct. It requires a lot of storage. Look, 24 hours, you need to power up your systems. Look, earlier days and all, you used to sleep at 6 o'clock, so you need not power. Now everyone used to sleep at 1 o'clock and all. So you need to power. So in the morning, we will extract that energy. How will you store that energy? That's a very relevant point. It requires huge storage, and also it is very space constraints are very high because you need a lot of space to install solar panels. You see, I think Adani now is very relevantly moving in India towards solar. So if you see the plans, are a lot of acres of land is required for installing the solar panels. So that is a major disadvantage because it can be installed in rooftops. Many models are coming. If you see the Google, many new models. Recently, Tesla developed a transparent model. Means you can use it as a window. Panels will be used as a window. From that, solar energy is getting extracted. It is becoming one of the tough competitors for our future energy. So wind is a very good future energy. Solar energy is a very good future energy. Next time, talking about moving to nuclear. Nuclear is one of the very best future energy, but some issues are there with nuclear. Can anyone tell what is the issue with nuclear? Why the world stopped, or why? Any issues with nuclear? Why? What is the problems with nuclear?
Sir, nuclear waste?
Yeah, very relevant. Nuclear waste, it was relevant, but now in US, if you see, they have developed plants which they used to store. If you see the US now, they have stored lot of nuclear waste in barrels. Now there is a technology which can reuse this nuclear waste. Okay, there is a technology to reuse this nuclear waste and produce fresh energy. So it has got a weightage. What your point? But it is a less weightage. Yeah, good. Any other points?
Sir, issues with the safety of the people around.
Yeah, yes.
Radiation
People are. Yes, yes. You're from Alapura or that area?
I'm from Ernakulam, sir.
Yeah, good, good. Actually, if you see this near Tamil Nadu, there is a lot of strike for this this nuclear plant is near Kodamukka. That nuclear plant, there is a lot of strike. Mainly because people are afraid of the nuclear safety. If you see the history, a lot of nuclear accidents have happened. In Fukushima, that nuclear reactor in Japan. If you see, lot of people who are dead or after the nuclear waste got, still they are not able to contain the nuclear waste. A lot of accidents have happened in the past, and but if you see the present technologies of the nuclear thing, it is one of the good chances of becoming the nuclear. The nuclear is one of the big competitor for becoming the future, because presently, previously my friend has told that nuclear waste is a big issue. Now that has been resolved, and also the safety features they are keeping on improving. Because if you see that the nuclear rods used and the nuclear safety precautions or the deactivating agents FEC, that has everything has improved. Okay, so features are improving in nuclear. So it is also one of a good future of energy. And other things I'm talking about, it is contributing minor thing only. So I'm talking about hydel power in Kerala, around 70% by hydel power only. We have a lot of Idukki, Mullaperiyar, all those, and also tidal power. Tidal power is a very good source, as you can see in the picture. In the future, we are going to extract tidal power. My friend has earlier told that wind is having a less density, but in tides there is a lot of density, energy density, that is per unit area or per unit volume. If you see, energy density in ocean or the seas is very high. So extracting that, it is one of the biggest. Yeah, in future it can come tidal power. Next is natural gas. Yes, natural gas, CNG. Yes, I don't know if in Kerala we have got CNG pumps. Have you anyone seen CNG vehicles? Are anyone using CNG vehicles? My friends, hello?
Yeah, of course.
In Kerala, have you traveled in CNG vehicle?
LPG.
Hello? Yeah, in Kerala, it is. I don't think in lot of it has not come much, but oil industry is pressurizing much on this CNG. Okay, in future in India, I think around 20 to 30% will happen in CNG, because already in Delhi, if you see, most of the vehicles will be flying in CNG. I don't know in Kochi how we have established some CNG outlets in Kochi, but I don't know whether it is operating or how much density is there. But less number of vehicles are now filling, and also biofuels. So biofuels right now in Erode, sitting in Erode, I am facing much competition from this biofuel. If you see, my petrol, diesel in biofuels are available in the market with less than 10 rupees. Okay, diesel price is around 72, 23. This price will be around 60. So obviously everyone will go for biofuels only. So so again, coming back to our basic track. So now we are analyzed so many energies which are currently used. Okay, which all these are currently in use. I don't think any other major things are there currently. Anyone tell any other major things which are used currently in India, or you are using other sources of energy which are relevant or can be future? I don't think so. Anyone can name other than this? Okay.
Liquefied petroleum gas.
It is auto LPG, but in Kerala, that's also, again, I will come back to a good interesting story in India. Sorry, Kerala. Auto LPG, if you see, I think if you travel across initially, across throughout the Kerala, so many auto LPG stations were there initially in Kerala. I am talking about HPCL. Right now, none will be operating. Anyone, can you tell why we had to decommission all those things? Auto LPG. I'm talking about auto LPG. Can anyone give a wild guess? It's a wild market guess only. Why initially everyone was using auto LPG? If you see, there was a wave in Kerala for auto LPG kits for convoy. We can travel on both on petrol and auto LPG. There was a wave. Why that was stopped? Now, if you see cars, they don't have auto LPG kit anything. I don't think it is a relevant thing. So why there was a shift? Can anyone tell, give a wild guess or market guess? Please, anyone.
The price differential is not that attractive anymore.
Yes, yes. Price differential was not that attractive because mainly the issues was supply. Supply. Actually, you had to travel around 10 to 15 kilometers from your home to NH or the place where the facility is there. And also the cost was around 10 to 15, 20 rupees. That much difference was only there with petrol and hot LPG. So you have given a very valid point. So the price difference was not much. But if you see CNG, the price is going to be nearly half. Okay. So the petrol right now in Kerala, I think it is 80, right? Anyone?
Yes,
This,
80
yeah,
rupees.
yeah. So don't throw stones at me at the end. Okay. I'm not the deciding person on this petrol prices. So you can ask me any doubts regarding that, but don't throw stones at me. So, so hot LPG was not that attractive compensation for, if you see, say, for a petrol vehicle. But CNG, it is going to be a game changer. Okay. So all those we will discuss at the end much. Okay. So now we have learned all the present energy things. So all these things are just Google knowledge. You can just go to Google. You can search. Yeah, what is relevant for us? So this is, now I am coming to the relevant part. So now using all this energy, we need to predict the future energy. Yeah, yes. What is going to the future? Can so okay. I'm not. It is like a film. So I don't want to go suddenly into my climax. So I'm going step by step. So so currently, so I have developed a small formula here. So because if you see, I know the point up to x5. Okay, just listen to me. This is a very basic, but it is a linear interpolation only, but basic. So this is x5. Assume it as 2020 means current year. So up to this, all the values I have got, or I have got from the net, or I have extracted used from different journals. So up to this point, I have all the data. Okay. Now I am predicting this point. This is my future point. Okay. So this formula will help me to predict the future. The basic is it is a mean average between all the points. Okay. And there is a relevant one small R is coming here. Okay. Or the trend. We need to be told about, if you, anyone can recollect, I told about the trend. I was talking about trend. And it is a exponential value. Okay. So I given Z a value. This Z is called, I want to name it as attitude. Okay. It's a general term, but I want to name this as attitude because this formula I have only taken this, or using my logic I have developed. So I want to name this as attitude. So why this is called attitude also you will come to know in the coming slides. So this is a, just keep in mind about the formula. Okay, this is a formula. Okay. So now we are going, so we have got one formula. We know the what all are the current fuels. So directly can we predict? No, we need some data. So this is the current data. Look, if you see oil, this is the oil means petroleum. All these things I have included here. Look how much it is getting consumed in the total energy mix. Now I've told now US is controlling the world, but that is only because oil is at the top. Okay, once any other things comes, I don't think US is going to be having much power, or they'll be going to be the world leaders. I don't think so. Next is coal. I've told you around 40% of the current energy is being consumed by coal. So we have to cut short this coal. Coal is a very dangerous thing. It is much more dangerous than petroleum because of the dust, everything. It is big pollution. It is very hazardous to. It will cause a sudden hazard, cancer, carcinogenous. Many things are there because of coal. Next is gas. All the CNG, hot LPG. This gas you can't feel in India, but if you work in industry or across the world, if you see, gas has got a very good mix. Okay, Kuwait and all, they are very good producers of gas. It is mainly compressed natural gas. Okay, there is a difference between compressed natural gas and hot LPG. So can anyone tell what's the difference between compressed natural gas and hot LPG? LPG and compressed natural gas. What is the difference? So random questions I'm getting. So come on, what is the difference between CNG, CNG and hot LPG? What is the difference? Can anyone tell?
Stephen, what's the other one? LPG, CNG and
Auto LPG and CNG. Auto LPG.
Okay.
Previously, auto LPG and CNG, compressed natural gas. What is the difference?
I think the energy content is less in auto.
Energy content, I am not talking about, I don't know about energy content actually, because yeah, that I'll talk afterwards. Let me get the correct answer. Come on, what is the difference between auto LPG and CNG?
Yeah, auto LPG has to be kept in a very high pressurized vessel.
No, that is a inverse actually. CNG, for transporting CNG, if you see the temperature of CNG, I've seen worked and associated with the importing of CNG. Actually, if you see CNG, it is compressed to minus 163 degrees Celsius. Okay, but auto LPG, whereas that much, it is not that problematic. CNG minus 163 degrees Celsius. Just imagine how the ships, how the product will be transferred. So it is actually the inverse what you're telling. So CNG is very difficult to hard. It is in cryogenic only we will be handling that. We will be handling. I'm not talking about your vehicles, but we will be handling, because in bulk we have to transport it. Anyone else? What is the difference between auto LPG and CNG?
In the combustion, CNG may be a cleaner source to.
Yeah, it is a cleaner. That is a very good relevant point. It is a very good cleaner. It is much more cleaner than auto LPG, all those fuels. But ultimately, it will produce CO2. That is a issue. That we'll in the coming slides we'll come to know how to compensate for CO2. Okay, what is the difference? Auto LPG. I didn't get the answer. Auto LPG and CNG. What is the difference? Come on.
Difference in the calorific value.
Yeah, it is different. Calorific value will be different between petrol, diesel, everything. I'm talking about what is auto LPG, what is CNG. From the source, okay. So question will be exactly clear. Where we are getting auto LPG and where we are getting CNG. Yeah, that will be a good question. What is the source? Auto LPG and CNG.
In the comments, we have an answer, sir.
Okay, sorry.
One is methane, while the other is propane and butane.
Yeah. So that is correct. Very good answer. So the energy density, if you see, if you take 1 liter of petrol and 1 liter of diesel, which is having high calorific value? Which is having high calorific value? Come on, guys.
Diesel.
Yeah, diesel. If you take 1 liter auto LPG, 1 liter of CNG, CNG is having lighter particles. So calorific value will be less compared to auto LPG. Auto LPG is having higher proportion, that is propane, butane, all those higher derivatives. But the source, I'm not getting the exact answer. Come on. What is the source of auto LPG and what is the source of CNG? From where we are getting CNG and where we are getting auto LPG?
LPG is refined from crude oil, while CNG is basically the gas that is trapped above crude oil deposits.
Very good, very good. What is your name? Good name, please.
My name is Arvind, sir.
Arvind.
Yes.
Yeah, very good answer. So everyone will be having that. What is the difference? Actually, CNG is completely different from auto LPG, because we petroleum industries, we are handling auto LPG also, but now we petroleum industry is not handling CNG. We are taking CNG from some other companies. If you tell Hindustan Petroleum, we are not handling CNG, we are not importing CNG. We are into that business, but it is not a derivative of petroleum or crude. Whereas hot LPG is a derivative of crude, means from crude on fractional distillation we are getting hot LPG at the top. So CNG is we are getting directly from the earth, and it is getting compressed to a very high calorific means minus degree temperature for transportation purpose, and it is being transported. While hot LPG, how it is getting transported? It is same crude. It is getting transported in big vessels, and that after coming to refineries only, we are getting auto LPG. So source of CNG is directly from the earth. So again, coming back, okay, to our, so we have analyzed all the type of energy. We have seen what are the pros and cons of all the energy. Now we are analyzing the statistics, means what is energy distribution currently, how much energy we are using. So look at here, look at the energy distribution of solar, wind, nuclear, hydropower. Oh my God, guys, what you expect? What time we can use before my coming to my analysis? At what point do you think this all these things will overtake this? And I'll come to the. I'll give you some values also. So that will be very look. If you see 2005, look, what is the energy? How much nuclear is there? How much solar is there? How much gas is there? Okay, and solar, nuclear. Then one more thing was our this thing, no, our contender. Yeah, wind. Yes, all these things. You look how it has increased from just on 15 years. Look how the proportion, how many times it has increased. Look, similarly, look at solar from 4. Look at 2005. Now, how much percentage it has increased? And also look at gas. Okay, obviously gas is there, but look at coal, oil. Okay, it has increased much. But can anyone tell me a wild guess? At what point of time? Look, this much energy is there, and this small energy all put together. Nuclear, you have to put together nuclear, solar, then wind. How also gas is not considering gas, because gas it is still polluting. It is causing global warming. So all these three. Okay, when do you think we can overtake or completely use all the sources? Can anyone give a wild guess? Wild guess. It is a wild guess. Like, wildest of wildest guess. Just giving the statistics.
20, 50, 10, 20 years in the future.
10, 20 years. Do you see how? Look at the quantity, Baba. 4, 3. Look how much. You see the percentage. How much it will come? Merely all this put together, around 6% is only there coming. You put together all this energy. Now currently 6% of the world energy is only contributed by all these things. But how? Why? Yes, your answer might be correct. But how you came to know that? Means why? How you came to that conclusion? Can you give again wild answer for that? Why you reached that conclusion?
I took into account the strides that are being made in the solar energy area, in terms of increased efficiency of solar panels used in generating electricity, and also the increased efficiency of other renewable sources as well. For example, in tidal.
Good. We have given a wide, very good guess or very good answer also. Because look at the proportion of increasing of these things. From 4, now it has come to 724. Array, it is very great number. Means percentage. If you see, it is. I can't. From here also, if you see it, around 50%. It has increased. Correct. From around this 2%, 50%. Yearly, it is increasing 50%.
Yes.
Correct. Your answer is good. Yes. Suddenly it will come. Solar. All the things will come correctly. So I want to take you to. He has given. What is your friend's name? Can you give me your name? Hello.
Aravind, sir.
Huh?
Aravind.
So, Aravind. Oh, Aravind. Come on, Aravind. Anyway, still Aravind. Good name. So Aravind has given me a guessed answer. So I am taking you to I've shown you one formula. Okay. So I want to calculate and I want to find the exact answer. So we will. So we have developed again. Coming back to the basics, we have learned a lot of energy. What are the energy things in the world? How that was controlling the human beings or our history. Now coming back to we have learned the pros and cons of all these things. That is good and bad effects of all the energy currently available. We have learned the statistics, how much energy is currently being used in different industries. Now we are going to predict the future. Okay, now it is very interesting. Okay, using this formula, what our Arvind, still Arvind,
Yes,
has told, good Arvind, yeah, has told, uh, we need to predict in a scientific or some using a theoretical knowledge. We don't want to have a wild guess or some guessing, okay, or some article related. I want to find out the exact point or what time they will overtake. So if you see my formula, there is a value called attitude. Okay. So so anyone in I don't know, you go and ask your mama, papa, anyone in 2005, they would not have known about solar. I don't know where they will be known, but solar, yeah, I don't know what is the pros and cons. I don't know. But suddenly, if you see in 2000, yeah, means they don't means if you see the history from that, now you just imagine everywhere. If you see here and there, you can see solar panels in your houses. I think we'll be using solar panel in your homes. Governments are making it mandatory. Look how it is like a mobile phone. Look how the mobile phone revolution has come and changed your life. It is going to change your life in the future. I want to discuss this with you because all my students, please hear carefully. Just because mechanical students or everyone related to this field, I want you to guys to realize that all the things you are studying or currently in industry, it is going to change at a drastic pace. You look at the speed of the change. Okay, so I want you young guys to be equipped with that change. So that is why I have chosen this topic. I don't want to give you some wild formulas or anything, but look at the relevant thing. In tomorrow, anyone studying mechanical parts and engine piston, do you think he will have a future after 15-20 years? I am basically from mech, so look, I basically throughout around 20-25% of my studies, 25-30%, I've studied only this engines, calorific value of the fuels, all those related things. But I am talking about mech because it is related to all other fields. In similarly, in if you see civil, if you see, yeah, how the investment is going to be in what field, what thing you want to develop, means hydraulic projects, will it come, nuclear will it come, CNG will it come. So this has got a very good relevance for all other fields also. Okay, so you think according to your field. So I'm thinking about mechanical. You see mech, I don't know in the next 20 years what is going to be my life if I am purely in mechanical. Look, in petroleum industry I'm working, I don't know what is my future, guys, come on. When I don't know whether this petrol is going to vanish or petrol is there up to around 100-150 years, we have the reservoir, but I don't know when this solar, all these people will come and attack my portion of petroleum. So currently it is 6%. So again I'm moving forward. So based on the data, this is the graphical representation I have shown it as a data. This is a data of this graph. Okay, same graph data is shown here. So I am moving to next slide. Okay, so I want to formulate, my formula is here. Based on this formula I want to predict the future. Okay, but there are many problems for me. Main issues are following. There is a increase in population. If you see, look, currently I think I am here. So if you see the future, look how the population is increasing. So if you see the previous slide, look, petroleum consumption is growing up every year. Even in COVID, if you see, my petrol percentage has gone up because more people are using petrol vehicles now. So petroleum, we are thinking that it is going down in COVID also, but my industry is flourishing in COVID actually. Look how the population is increasing. So how can I determine how much energy I need? So I have fixed the population growth as this rate. This is the current rate of growth of population. Look how the energy means energy also will be growing because the people need energy. So many people living together means so much energy demand is there. So will it be sufficient with existing? You are telling that nuclear energy will come, solar will come, all these things. Are it sufficient? That will be add-on because existing petroleum that will be add-on. Next concern is energy demand growth. Previously, I think we will not be using much energy. Look now, per capita, if you see, there is a very large energy demand growth, 1.5% every year. You are using, if you see, now we are using television. Previously, in your home, if you see, only you have television. Then some washing machine also not there. If you see 20 years back. Now, if you see internet, washing machine, mobile phones, so many electronic equipments. Next future, Internet of Things is coming. That means all the things will be linked to internet. So all the gadgets, everything will have internet thing. Your fan, you will sit there. Artificial intelligence is coming. They will control your based on your mind. They will read your face or they will read your face and recognize and change the channels or change the speed of the fan, lighting, colors. They will change. All those things are going to come in the future. Okay, so energy demand also goes up. So that is only relevant for us. Energy demand is increasing. Also, there is increase in investment. I don't know what is the value here to put till run into trillions. Okay, so this all are the constraints. So we want to. What is our aim? Again, coming back to the basics. Come on, we want to predict the future. What is the future energy? Look, so many constraints are there. How will I predict the future, guys? Come on. How will I predict the future? Look, so much consider the capital shift. Look, 600% of capital shift is happening in renewables. So all these constraints are there for finalizing my Arvind has told my friend. Yeah, things are 50 years. All the things will be changing to solar, or everything will be changing to panels. Will be living on electricity only. So, guys, I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So, look, economics of battery. If you see 80% reduction, I have told you before now, per unit cost of electricity, solar is coming down like anything. So people are now they want if you consider a cost of electric vehicle now around Kia vehicle, it is around 25 lakhs. We'll get an electric vehicle. Okay, so similar variant in diesel, if you see, around 12 lakhs. So there is a double the cost for a electric vehicle currently in the market in India. I'm telling, but in the future it may come down. Look, if you have two options, one is solar vehicle. If you have two options, one is to buy diesel vehicle, one is to buy solar or electric vehicle. Which one will you go? Can anyone tell which one will you choose? If both are available for the same price, which one will you choose?
Electric vehicle.
Yeah, it is obvious. Electric vehicle only will be. Because of the difference in price only, you are choosing diesel vehicle. Or currently, look, if you see after COVID, vehicle market is booming like anything. I don't know. That is statistics is different. So I'm coming back. But all this depends. Finally, all this depends on attitude. Okay, so I have raised a simple question. So what was the question? If you get for the same price electric vehicle and the petrol diesel vehicle, which one will you choose? You will choose electric, but 100% of the people will choose electric. But if the same vehicle I am giving for electric vehicle for 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs and the other one for 12 lakhs. I doubt 50% won't choose this one. 50% won't choose. So that is the attitude factor here. Okay, so again coming back to my formula, this is the attitude what I'm talking about. So depending on the attitude of the people, how will I know what is the attitude? If I get the same price, I can know attitude of the people. How will I guess here with this difference in price? So all these parameters. So I have developed a formula. All these parameters I have fixed. Okay, this is a parameters I have fixed. Then I am moving to my result. Okay, using this, I've done a small modeling and I have got the results. Okay, I have predicted using this formula. I have predicted a so my variable will be mostly I am changing attitude. All the other things I have kept as fixed. Then based on attitude, that is our attitude of the people. Okay, sir have rightly pointed out. If you get the same vehicle for 12 lakhs, electric vehicle, you will choose that only. Yeah, that is attitude. So attitude is my Z here. Okay. So depending on different attitude rates, I have calculated keeping all the other parameters fixed. As Aravind told, yes, Aravind, you are absolutely right. Look, at the current, this is a current scenario, and I have taken attitude as the same, means current attitude. It has increased actually attitude. So look, at 2054, if you see the current trend, if it is continuing like this, 96% of the world, it will convert to renewables. Look, energy demand is growing. Look at the total energy, it is growing. Okay, considering population, everything I have considered, total energy, it is growing to this value. Similarly, renewables will grow if as per the current trend or the current, if the people is having the current attitude of switching to energy. If you see America, US, one example, Tesla cars, it is going like hotcakes. Tesla car, it is costing, my one friend told, it is costing around 1 crore there. But even the statistics of Tesla car means it is very costly because of the attitude of the people. Tesla is one of the highest number of selling cars. Tesla is selling highest number of cars there. Right? I don't know the statistics. I'm not sure, but Tesla is selling very good number there in US. Okay, so that depends on the attitude. So this is the attitude. Okay, so if we are moving at the current attitude, slightly this thing good. By 2054, that currently my age is around 20, 30. Yeah, around next 20 years, when I go around 50, I'll purchase only electric vehicles because it will be only available in the market. Because the cost of electric vehicles will come down. Cost of all other things, components will come down because there is no moving part. I think that you can Google and find out good futures of electric cars or something. So by 2054, I'll purchase only electric vehicles. Okay. So good, but next time I want to get it in a good more increasing. Or guys, 20. Sorry, when I reach 60 only, I can purchase electric vehicle. Okay, fine. So I'm leaving that. So I want to increase. I want to purchase more. What? How should I increase? I should increase my attitude. Look, I increase my attitude. So by 2043. When I am reaching 50, yeah, I'll be able to purchase electric vehicle. Look, 95% of the world will get converted to electric vehicles by 2043. Just keep your minds switched. So I want you guys to just know this thing. In your future, it is not going to be the current industry which is working in the world. Okay, industry, as industrial revolution has changed the world, there is another revolution of technology and all those things which are changing the world right now. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. Okay, good guys, all these things you should be aware of. This is the latest changes in the industry. Again, I'm telling you, there are many latest changes happening in the industry. Look, if you in 1990, I think we have gone for liberalization. That time, computer have come to India. It is a joke only. I don't want to criticize any this thing political party or not. That time, Communist Party of Kerala, they have revolted against this computers because it will cause jobs. They are revolted for a good purpose that time. No one know that time that computer is going to change the scenario. But at that time they revolted only because look, they don't had the vision or the future thinking. They just thought that it is going to cut down the manpower. Look, computer is coming. Yeah, 2-3 manpower together, they will work. But now look at the India. Yeah, in India, highest we are exporting software. So based on computer only, we are exporting maximum. So that scenario has changed. So employment I'm changing. Employment is changing based on the global trend. So you guys, you have to be equipped. You have to be equipped not with the textbook knowledge. You have to be equipped with the world knowledge. Okay, what is happening around you? What is happening around you? You have to know that. Okay, so you have to be equipped for the future. That I want everyone of you to do. What will be the future? What is your future, or what is going to happen next, guys? If you are not doing engineering also, if you are going for business, what is the future, guys? Look, all these things will come in the future. Don't currently business also, you have to move as per the trend. Okay, so in business also, if you are not moving as per this trend or whatever some small knowledge I have shared with you, if you are not moving as per the trend of the world, you are going to be lost. Look, many if you look at the major Kodak, is a good example. Kodak camera. Now, can anyone see a Kodak camera? No, because they have not moved to the world. Come on, guys. It was one of the biggest selling in the when I was a small child. Have a Kodak camera is one of the biggest dream. Look, in my mobile phone now, within 10 years, I think 10, 15 years, everything has changed. So things are changing in the world. You should be aware of this. I think like this thing, like this industrial and the industrial people or people working in the industries will be more updated to this knowledge, because industrial people, if they are not updated, that industry is gone. So I think you should be more interacting with KEA and the industrialist, all those entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, everyone. So I think you should be more involved in this type. Otherwise, you are getting lost. Look, if my company is continuing with the petroleum, what will I get any salary at this time? No, I'll not get. Okay, so I have to. My industry has to change. My this thing has to change. So guys, am I clear to everyone? Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so this status is keep in your mind. Okay. Next is going to be some question answer. Okay. Again, so you know that electricity is the game changer. Come on, guys. Are you everyone confident of this? Future is going to be electricity. Electricity, not from fossil fuels. Everything will go to electricity. Are everyone confident? I am not able to. Sorry, I can't see the comment. Can anyone comment or can anyone tell? Are you confident, guys? Come on. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, yes, madam. What is your answer? Do you think electricity is going to be the game changer?
Yes, of course.
Of you, of me, of everyone. Correct, now?
Everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So, some 2-3 questions. I think Arvind Arvind should not tell these answers. Others should speak out. Okay. So, which one do you think? Solar will come in the future? Anyone, please? Solar energy. So, I have discussed with you so many energy which is currently available. So, which is among this energy, which is going to the top? Which one is going to the game changer in the world? That only we are analyzing now. So we have come to electricity. Come on. So electricity is going to the game changer. But in electricity, which one? Come on, guys. Do you think solar is going to the game changer? Anyone? Come on. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I am putting a tick.
Yes. Yes.
Next is wind. Even do you I'm getting echo? Hello? Hello? I think I'm getting an echo. Someone dual. Can anyone switch off any nearby 2 devices anyone is using? Hello? Now it's fine. Okay, okay. So wind. Do you think, guys? Do you think wind is going to the future? Come on, guys. Do you think wind is going to the future? Look, in Denmark, they have 50 to 60% they are using wind only. Wind, I'll tell you the advantages. Many advantages I missed, I think, wind. So people, you are not convinced. Wind, it is 24-hour power. Okay. It's not like battery. It is not like solar system, which night time it will go to sleep and in the morning only it will wake up. Wind, it is 24-hour power. Okay, so guys, do you think wind is going to be the game changer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure, it's going to be the game changer. Next is next question. So, do you think we need battery to store this electricity which is produced? I think I'll give a tick. Yes, give a tick. Yes. Everyone is
Yes.
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 Yes. So this is another relevant question. Is battery causing pollution? Anyone, please? Are you participants are not there? Huh? Hello? 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 Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do you think batteries will cause pollution? We are shifting to electricity because of all this pollution, climate change. Look how the Arctic, what is happening? What is happening with our
Glacier.
Kerala climate? What is happening with the world climate? What is happening with our? If you go to summertime, my God, every year temperature is rising, right? So, do you think batteries will cause pollution? All these things is how can we store this? Only using battery, correct? So, will battery cause pollution? Do you think? Come on, guys. Now our world is revolving on lithium-ion batteries. Yeah. So, do you think this batteries will cause pollution? From your experience, you will be using batteries now. Dry cells, what will be using after once you are using, you are throwing it, right? What about other batteries? Battery components or anything? UPS or any battery components. Come on, guys, it will cause pollution, right? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yes. Now, I want to, come on, guys, I want to know the final answer. Which one is going to be the future? So, lithium price, if you see, it is increasing 2 to 3 folds from 2016 to 18. So, lithium, now it is currently lithium is trending. If you see, lithium and batteries, Tesla, they are modeling based on lithium and batteries only. So, the cost is also increasing. So, the main issue we came to know from electricity is storage. Come on, guys, how can we store electricity? Electricity is stored in batteries. Right now, I don't know that. So, how to store electricity? This is a big mistake. So next time going to my conclusion. Okay, am I boring you? Hello, hello.
No, not at all.
Okay, I think I have given some small inputs. Okay, right. Please reiterate or give me some output so that I can be more interactive. I think. So look. So this is the conclusion, guys. Come on, here is the future for us. Look, this is I'm going to a very good thing I'm going to discuss with you. There is immediate future. If in next 2 to 3 years, you will know in India itself, if you come to travel across Kerala, there is going to be more CNG stations because in 100% growth is seen every year. In Delhi, if you see, CNG is must for buses. Okay. Currently, 20% of the world is run on CNG, and CNG abundant reserves are also there. So, CNG is one of the immediate future. Is it a permanent future? Do you think so? Not at all, because it is causing CO2, all those gases. Again, it will lead to climate change and all the drastic effects of global warming. Okay. So there is a game changer. Okay, guys. So because there is a vast, if you see the data, look, there is a vast difference between current electricity consumption and the if you see all other things. So we need a bridge for that, right? How will you bridge that? All those only bridge is nuclear and hydrogen. Then comes the question. Come on, guys. Why I am telling hydrogen is the next game changer? Why? Come on, guys. Come on. What is the futures of hydrogen? Anyone knows? Come on. Why hydrogen? I am telling will be the next game changer or the future. Why?
Hydrogen doesn't need storage, right?
Yes. Hydrogen needs storage, right?
And the byproducts are actually air and water, oxygen and water, right?
Yeah, it is oxygen and water. Yes, it is a very clean energy, right? Everyone agree with me. Okay. Another point. Yes, it is a clean energy. Next point. Why do you think hydrogen is going to be
Clean, secure, and affordable energy source.
Yes, madam.
Clean, secure, and affordable energy source.
Yeah, it is. You're told 3 points: clean, affordable, and secure. It is one of now. It is not that secure because storing of hydrogen is a bit risky right now. Okay, that is why world is not equipped to handle. It is equipped now. It was not equipped to handle hydrogen. It is a bit dangerous gas. So, but now systems are developed. Even your with full tank of 300 liters of hydrogen, your 1 week, your power of your home can be taken from the car. I think Honda, all those people, they are developing this technology. In future, it will come. Hydrogen cars will come. Only the issue currently is hydrogen because if you don't have any fuel stations, storage of hydrogen is very difficult. Means handling is difficult. Storage not handling. But in the future, using because currently we are having petrol tanks, petrol, all these things. If you just modify all those things, hydrogen we can store, transport, and also best thing is density is also good. Can you transporting hydrogen is best or transporting these batteries? Which one will be good? Come on, guys, which one will be good? I think it will be. Yes, come on.
Hydrogen because it's a gas.
Yeah, it is hydrogen. Transporting, handling. If in the future through pipelines, we can transport hydrogen. So, which is better because suddenly your means in Ernakulam city, if you see batteries, there is no source. Come on, suddenly you need battery. It has to come from some Karnataka or somewhere. How will it come? If it is through pipelines, all those things now, suddenly it can come pumping there. You will receive that. So all those things will contribute to hydrogen coming as the good source. Next point, can anyone tell? Next relevant point. Come on. Why hydrogen? Why hydrogen? Hello?
It's highly.
Yes? I can't hear you. Hello?
I said it is abundant in the nature. We can split water and make it.
Yes, that's a very relevant point. Come on. It is abundantly available. Now, currently, hydrogen they are producing their different methods. Okay. Well, right now they are producing from CNG. Okay. From compressed natural gas, it has got hydrogen. They are cracking it and they are using the catalyst methods and all. They are producing hydrogen from CNG. That is called gray hydrogen, or we call blue hydrogen or something. Okay. Other hydrogen is green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is produced purely from electrolysis. Electrolysis, it requires energy. Okay. That energy from where will we get? We will get from this electricity. Electricity will be produced by solar and wind, and it can be stored in hydrogen without the use of batteries. Look how beautiful. So you came to know the relevance of hydrogen right now, I think. So storing and handling in the future of hydrogen, it will become more secure. Future is there in hydrogen right now, because in the morning we can use panels to convert, use electrolysis and convert to hydrogen. The same hydrogen we can use it for easily pumpable hydrogen can be used for cars. It can be used for powering anything. Okay, so storing and handling hydrogen can be very easy. It can be much more easier than the battery. Look, battery will cause a lot of pollution, and look at the cost also will increase in the future. So handling of hydrogen will be best in the future. That is why I go for hydrogen. Next is nuclear. Come on, nuclear. Why you choose nuclear, guys? Come on. Array, nuclear, it is going to be the cleanest fuels in the future. Nil accidents. If you improve the safety and security features, nuclear will be the best, because in future all these missions, it will go to moon, Mars, abundant uranium, thorium. With thorium and all, 1 kilogram, 1 ton. Sorry, 1 ton is equivalent to 35 tons of uranium. Thorium. I'm talking about thorium. Okay. That is equal to 4 million metric tons of this coal. Look how abundant energy is available in nuclear. Nuclear is going to be the future. There is no doubt on that, because only people are afraid because of the safety issues right now, safety and the nuclear waste. But in the future, nuclear waste, we can handle everything. Right now, America, they are handling nuclear waste. They are going to develop models based on that. Currently, works are going on for treating the old stored nuclear waste for converting to electricity. Look, so I want you guys, nuclear and hydrogen. This will be the future. I think anyone. So I have predicted. Come on, guys, from where we came. We came from the current energy sources. We have studied. We have made a small model, and we have studied all the things, and we have analyzed that electricity is going to be the future. From electricity, how? Which one? What medium? So we have come and concluded at CNG. Initially, we have concluded CNG, but CNG is a transition, intermediate fuel, because it can't be a permanent solution. CNG, because immediately for replacing petroleum products, CNG is going to come. Because initially I have told you the price of CNG is going to be half of diesel. Come on, guys, who will go and purchase diesel? Everyone is going for CNG only, no? Yes, CNG is going to the immediate future. If you see next 2 to 3 years, 3-4 years, CNG plants, CNG auto stations, CNG vehicles will more. It will be flying in the road. Next future is hydrogen and nuclear. Okay, so I think you guys got what will be the future of energy. So I want you to think. Come on, what will be your future? Because initially I have discussed about energy industry, how much people labor oriented energy industry is. So in future all these things will come, and all the technologies will add up. So you guys want to get equipped. You want to know that if you know the future of energy, yes, you got a pathway for traveling. Now you can travel. Yeah, I got I got a small understanding. Yeah, how is the energy industry going to be? So the traveling in this path will be very good for you, or related industries. It is not that same only some petroleum only, but to this. Example, automobiles. If you see software, if you see all those things. Okay. So my conclusion will be hydrogen and nuclear. So another interesting thing while going through my slides, you might have seen, I don't know, or noticed. Initially, if you see, I started this slide with passion. I have discussed hard work, and at the end I have discussed attitude. So guys, I want you guys to have all these qualities in your life. Okay, it will help in your life. Do have a passion, do work for that, and ultimately your attitude, it only matters. Okay. Okay, sir. So I am concluding my session. So all the best for you guys. So you
Thank
can
you,
have a
sir.
good interactive. Okay. So how was the session? Please give me some feedbacks so that I can improve next time. How was the session? Did everyone enjoy?
Yes, Stephen. Stephen, before we go into the QA session, I would like to just ask you to explain a little more on the solar side, because in my observation, the nuclear, CNG, and other forms of energy production, they're not in the hands of the public. Governments or big corporations have to do that. So in contrast, this solar energy is in people's hands. I can turn my roof, which I'm doing right now, into a rooftop solar energy production plant, which people can adapt by changing their attitude. Yeah, good that you mentioned that attitude aspect as well. So could you please elaborate a little more? I know we don't have time, but some more time could you please spend on the current state of affairs in solar energy, especially rooftop?
Sir, I think you will be the better person, sir. Sir, whatever I'm talking will be only Google knowledge or something.
I'm not an authority.
So you,
Stephen, sorry. Yeah. I mean, you asked a person who
you're working in this field, sir. So I have only Google knowledge, sir. To be frank, in this field I have only Google knowledge. I have not worked in solar. But I'll based on my little knowledge, I'll tell, sir. Basically,
please.
Main thing is happening with sir, I think I have been tracking Tesla, what Elon Musk they are doing. So basically, it's a very good future for solar. Whatever I told is solar. What are the disadvantages? It space constraint, all these things. So that in the future they are going to go to even space, and they are going to establish the solar plants there, and from there they'll be transporting energy through waves. That is a very interesting concept of Elon Musk. I think everyone, if you better to go to YouTube and search Elon Musk, is delivering very good thoughts how solar energy can be used. Basically, yeah, solar panels. Now, main issue I told is solar panels is having space constraint. That can be covered up by using transparent solar panels. In windows we can use, and also what cost of the solar panels will come down like anything, because I think it may now in India, if you see, China is the biggest producer. So in future, why US and all they are afraid of China is that in future, if the petroleum, all the sectors, they are controlling this. Arabian countries, they have a good US is having a good control over them, but over the oil, also in the oil industry also they are having good control. So if in the future they are losing this control, China is the biggest producer of solar plants, solar steep, very low rate solar panels. So China is going to be number one power in the future. They are having a good scope. So I think India also should take up the solar projects and solar panels. And sir, like you, I think you should more invest in solar research or something. I think in future it is going to be the future, sir. Solar panels and the innovative ways of using solar panels.
Yes, Stephen. Stephen, I would like to just share a few points, a few thoughts in my mind. I'm not from a solar energy background, but however, I was just experimenting hands-on on solar energy recently, especially during this COVID pandemic, during work from home. I had some extra time. So I have the pleasure of telling that I'm a big believer of solar right now, because I have implemented a small solar plant on my rooftop. Okay, and the level of sophistication nowadays on solar panels is unprecedented. As you said, during 7 days it was $70 or $80 per watt. Right now it is 24 rupees per watt for a watt,
yes, yes,
watt power. Okay, and the innovation, as you said, is happening from countries like China and Germany as well. And now I have just ordered. You'll be surprised. I mean, you must be knowing about it, but the student community here, you must be surprised. I just ordered one panel which can produce solar energy from both the sides, called bifacial. Top, the sun facing, and the bottom side. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, bifacial, which will also produce 30% of its capacity from the bottom side of it. And it,
Yes. I have heard about it, sir. Yes.
I'm yet to lay my hands on that thing. Next week it will arrive, and I'll be using it. And the inverter technology has also gone up like anything. And the inverters nowadays combine solar, but grid plus battery, and it intelligently decides to select which one of this thing to be used. So it is affordable nowadays, and as you said, the cheaper solar panels.
They are combining, actually, if you see, they are combining the Internet of Things, all the latest technologies into solar system. Or so they are developing solar not for individual unit. They are connecting into a different nodes, and there each node will act as, means if you are producing extra units, it can be delivered to other person. Like that node system they are developing, sir. That is a very interesting thing. So in a village, if you see, you will be exchanging energy with each other houses or the other households, and also based intelligently, means artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. All these things are going to come, sir, in solar. It is a great field, means working with this, sir. In the future is very great innovations, like mobile phone. Great innovations will come in solar.
I'm sure, Stephen, some of this audience is out of this 100 people who attended, at least few people, few students will be joining the solar industry, I'm sure, when they finish their course and they get placed somewhere.
Any questions, my friends? Because you can ask me any questions. Okay. As I've told in the starting of my slides, you can ask any questions from my background or any doubts you have. Sir, I have to do this. Any personal things you can ask me, call me, but any things. Industry.
You guys can type the questions in the chat box. If you don't want to ask in person, you can just type the question in the chat box. Please go ahead.
Career paths. I think Shasna has asked a question. So my industry experience is the industry is dynamic, very dynamic. There is no fixed thing. I can't tell that this is the industry right now. Right now I am into sales. Okay, sales background. So daily 100 of new things is coming up. I can't guide you, means I can only show you the ultimate or something, but you have to choose your path and how you have to reach that. Because I've given you some 3 qualities. If you possess that quality, and if you keep upgrading, you daily you read anything, you should read, you should discuss with people. At least you should be involved in all those things, means you can upgrade yourself. Because I can't, because in the future I don't know. Mobile phone also technology, you just see the mobile phone technology. Everything is dynamic right now. So you be equipped to handle dynamic things. I can't guide you because tomorrow industry may change. Because ultimately industry is going to this only, energy industry. But I am talking about a general term. So you should be equipped with yourself. It means you should have the guns to fire with you. Not someone should fire for you. Okay, you will not be having bodyguards. Okay. You should have the guns with you. So you should be equipped with that. You should read, you should daily gain the knowledge what is happening in the industry. I don't think, I'm very sad or very I'm not I'm very sad with the things I have learned, because I should have learned much relevant to the industry. I have learned so much things during my engineering. I mugged up so much things. I have learned so many useless things and all, actually. So our syllabus is designed with that. So you guys don't go based on syllabus or based on your engineering degree subjects or anything. In your life, if you possess all those qualities now, you should be a keen learner. Keen learner is you should learn yourself. You should upgrade your knowledge. Based on that means then only you can be relevant to the field. So I think my experience is that industry is very dynamic, guys. Industry is not like old industry. It's very, very dynamic. Every industry is dynamic because new things are coming up. I don't think if you will be learning so many computer models or I don't know the recent I don't know what is the syllabus of the Kerala University KTU. So our syllabus and all was not relevant to industry, really not relevant. So don't go by bookish knowledge. Okay.
Well, yeah, Arjun here. I think we are running out of time, so let us wind up. Yeah. Any questions? Maybe you guys can come through. Atul and come to me, and we will just connect to Stephen and get the answer. So maybe over to you, Atul. Go on.
Stephen, one sec. Could you just please copy and paste that further reading links in the chat box so that people can just copy it? Your 19th slide has further reading, those links.
Okay. I'll share you the slide itself, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, that's a great note, Tom, sir. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Sir, if you are able, you can share the slides with Adul, and I'll be more than happy to share this with the entire students.
Yeah, that I'll do. That I'll do for you. That will be better for you.
We will. I'll get it, Adul. I'll get it.
You can give me your mail ID. I'll share you the slides. That will be better. I think this will go. Can anyone note? It will be very difficult to note down, I think.
Yeah.
Someone send me your mail ID. Someone share your mail ID. I'll send mail in that. Okay. Can anyone share your mail ID, please? I'll take a note of it and I'll.
Yeah, Adul has shared, Stephen.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just get that to you personally. No problem.
Okay.
Sure.
Adul,
please go on. Yeah.
So it's time to give a feedback to our guest. So anybody?
Guys, I want a genuine feedback because our KEA mainly, I think we want to connect with more guys. We'll be connecting with more guys in the coming sessions. So what was bad? What you didn't like? What has to be improved? You can please share with me so that it will be useful for others.
Yeah, I think Stephen, they may go through some Google form or something, and they will get the feedback later with us, so that we can see that in back.
Oh yeah, that is good.
Yeah, right. So okay, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Arjun, I'll be sharing a Google form, feedback form with among the students, and I'll get back to you with the.
All right. You can connect me through Atul. That will be great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then. Now to wrap up our session, I welcome our captain, Aravind, to say a word of thanks.
Thank you, Mariam. So, പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട NSS കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങളെ മനസ്സിലാകട്ടെ. For those who don't know me already, my name is Aravind. I am the volunteer secretary of NSS Unit 162 of Government Engineering College, Kozhikode. And the task I have been given here is to share my thanks to all the good people who have taken this session for us. So first and foremost, I would like to start by thanking Mr. Stephen Babu for, I know we have gone a bit over our scheduled time, but still, I really believe from the bottom of my heart that he has really imparted a lot of knowledge. Even if it is a wide-ranging subject, he has touched upon almost every region and has given a basic idea on what we must look forward to in the future. And also he has revealed many interesting avenues where we can focus on as budding engineers. Also, I would like to extend my thanks to Mr. Thomas Bengal, President, Mr. Arjun Sundaresan, Mr. Sunil Kumar, and Dr. Tom George for their instrumental in handling such a session and giving us such a charismatic speaker for our unit and for this session. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And last but not least, I would like to thank all the students who have been with us for such a long time, and they have communicated their thoughts, asked us their doubts, and I look forward to attending and conducting more sessions with you, sir. Thank you once again for this session.
Sure. We will connect you for next section. Thank you everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you,
Yep, good
Captain
night.
Aravind.
Bye-bye.
It was a great session with you, sir, and also a great pleasure in collaborating with Kerala Engineer Association Bangalore. So it's an end.
Guys, I think the last one, last but not least, you everyone please go to Facebook and please join KE or like or okay, share the pages. Okay.
Thank you, Stephen, for saying that. Yeah, sure. All right.
Thanks, Stephen. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.